Hi, I'm Spencer Holmes from Project Leaders, and I'm here at Greenwich University today to interview Professor Victor Newman, who's going to talk to us about the importance of creativity for project managers.
I'm Victor Newman. I'm a visiting professor here at the Business School of the University of Greenwich in Knowledge and Innovation Management, which is a slightly unusual title because I actually think, I used to be a big fan of knowledge management, but I came to the conclusion that it was a waste of time if it didn't lead to innovation. So that's why the title is the way it is. So apart from being a visiting professor, I'm also an innovation practitioner. So that means I take ideas, I apply them, develop insights and talk about them. And then I move on to the next idea. So I've got a low boredom threshold, but I love working in industry, and I've had some C-grade, C-level executive roles as well. And I dip into those as an executive interim, learn some great lessons, and then balance it with this opportunity to think about what I've actually learned.
Okay, so Victor, how would you describe the sort of current health status, if you like, of levels of creativity amongst the project management fraternity as it stands?
Looking at the problem we have about growth, looking at the recession, I'm amused at the benchmarking models around performance that are still being used, but my experience of applying a diagnostic tool I've developed around innovation leadership with CEOs has taught me that actually the person we need to work on is the CEO. But fundamentally, my key lesson over the last 2 to 3 years has been that innovation techniques are useful, but innovative people are essential. In other words, you can have some great techniques, but if you've got the wrong people, you're going to get mediocre results. But if you've got some great people and some mediocre techniques, you'll get some great results.
Okay.
So, one is useful, but the other is essential.
Okay, so from what you've said, Victor, what lessons can we learn from your experiences of working across a number of different sectors in a number of different scale projects?
But there are some techniques that I found myself developing where I had authority but without power, which was I facilitated conversations with powerful people to help them work out what they really wanted, and then I connected what they wanted with what had to be done. I had to play games in terms of interpretation and flattery to actually sell. So I would argue that some of the creative stuff is around populating the unknowns. And I think once you've populated the unknowns, I think the other aspect of creativity in project leadership will be the ability to communicate using different formats. And it's around, you might find yourself spending 70% of your time focusing on communicating rather than the project itself. So I would tend to argue you need a project leader who's going to fly top cover and who's going to focus on alignment, who's got the creative ability to find different ways of communicating certain issues. You have to learn to infect the body politic with ideas that you give a name to, which really capture what they're about.
Okay, Victor, so what sort of specific advice could you give for project managers watching this video to develop their creative muscle?
It's something I call 30-70.
Okay.
Okay, now 30-70, when I was first appointed headhunted to Pfizer in 2000, and I've used this technique quite a few times now, but I have to be careful who I do it with, in the sense that people recognise what you're up to. You may have to, creativity may involve a level of risk, where as a leader, you specify the 100% space. You then control the 30%, which is the definition and the general approach. But then remember, you're dealing with functional specialists.
Yes.
You have to essentially appear to erase spaces where they can make a big contribution and just put questions that only they can answer. It's about encouraging yourself to enjoy playing.
Okay.
So I go back to my days, as a young Special Forces soldier, reservist, and I always loved going on courses I always loved being taught to do new dangerous stuff with new kit. Because and people say, you know, are you crazy? I say, well, you know, it's only me. You know, let's have some fun. And I think the key thing about parachuting is that it encourages you to take that step into emptiness.